Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. The two are interchangeable. So, thank you for everyone for joining me on the next latest installment of Thursday Fry Up, and lots to discuss today. Thank you so much as well for your questions that have come in. And there's some bits and bobs we're going to look at as well with Duck Larange. Yeah, he's going to top and tail the show today, but I feel like I needed to expand a little bit more on some of the things I discussed about him and his life and stuff like that on my show yesterday. So just to kind of I've not been able to see, well, from what I understand, so Linda G, Lady G, of course, you know that I put a video out and I was just checking in to see how she was. I spoke with her yesterday. Thursdays for me are super busy because basically I have clients all day, but also as well, I'm in the final stages of literally, as you know, editing my book. You know, we're almost kind of getting there. The front cover's almost done, everything. So today was literally from the morning, editing at the local cafe, stuff like that. Then I had my clients, a shout out as well to Ingrid and Kristen. Fabulous consultations today. And then I've got, a little break for food, and then I'm straight into my Thursday fry up. But what Ingrid told me was that Ganga, lady, because the G stands for Ganga. Ganga's operation was delayed yesterday. So when she dropped me a WhatsApp, she thought at that time she was about to go into surgery and stuff like that. And of course, remember, UK is 5 hours ahead of Eastern Coast, Eastern Standard Time. So I was in bed and this, that, and the other. Ingrid told me today that she didn't have the operation yesterday. Apparently, she did a video about it, but she's gone in today. But it still applies. Yeah, thoughts and prayers to her. I hope everything is all good. And then I'll be checking in with her as well. I've been told as well that apparently I think she's got a brother that might be helping her as well, because I'm also worried, of course, about the dogs and all of that kind of stuff. So again, if anyone's in the area, if you're near where she is, Santa Fe, the hospital, I think, is in Las Cruces, that kind of stuff. So, we'll help her get through all of this. So again, thoughts and prayers to Lady G. So hopefully she's had the operation today, or maybe it was delayed again. I don't know. So we'll have to see. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. All right, the show today, what's it going to be about? So here are your questions coming in. So to give you an overview, like I said, Doug Larange is going to top and tail the show today. The reason why I'm going to be talking about his Dashas, everyone, his Dashas, yeah, which many of you have started to become very interested in. But what are the other questions? So we got a question here in about the EU, Brexit, maybe, Britain maybe kind of going back in a little bit, playing a little hokey pokey. Now, do you remember I said I think the UK will basically kind of go back in, if not completely fully, then certainly partially. Yeah, pragmatism. Yeah, pragmatism. And then we're going to be talking a bit about volcanoes. We're going to be talking about Dubai and the flooding, and then we're going to end up, so stay to the end, folks. We've got a question that's come in on Trump's bond and financial fraud and all of this kind of stuff. Because let me tell you, when you look at his Dashas, which is where you can make a big prediction in people's lives, this is where you can see a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to see who's in the house, and then I'm going to explain this, everybody, what this is about, why it's relevant to Duck Larange, and then we'll get into your questions, and then we'll finish up on him to see what level of skid row he's on this week. Right, okay, let's have a look. So who do we have here? Angela's saying, bloody Trump. Who else do we have? We've got Sherry here. Hello, Rainbow Cleft. Thanks. Yes, I see I was wrong. I forget. As you guys know, the chat is a law unto itself here. So there's all sorts going on in the ecosystem of the chat. So here is Debin BC saying, yeah, sending yeah, prayers for Lady G. Yes, of course. Thank you so much. Sharon Donnelly is here. Hi, Hogarth and everyone. We've got Vivian here who's saying hello in the chat. So many of you. Shari, oh, Shari's here. Voices on the song. Look at this majestic kind of favicon. Because she's like, ooh, ooh. I might be doing a little upgrade myself, but just changing the banner. So she's saying hello to everyone here. Who else do we have in the house? We've got Barbara, who is here as well, and many of you piling in. So thank you guys for joining me. Oh, slight itchy end of the earth. Thank you for joining me in the show. Now let's dive in. Now, what am I talking about with Dashas and why are they important? In Vedic astrology, pardon me, in Vedic astrology, which you'll soon be finding out, of course, in the book. Oh, which reminds me, here's the best analogy for it. Now, well, I say it's the best analogy, but it's something very hard to describe. So to give you an idea, a dasha is a planetary sequence. It's when planets have certain influence over a person's chart, a dominant influence. But it's almost like every planet has its own car, and your car, you're put in the back seat of that car and you're driven along for a certain amount of time. But along that drive, the drivers change. Yeah, when a planet comes along, it is always driving its own car. So where that planet sits in the chart, who it's with, and the lordships, the houses it rules, has an effect, as well as the driving planet, what house that sits in and what house it rules. So what I did was, because it's such a complicated thing to trying to explain to everyone, dashas and energy and all that kind of stuff, that's why I created this illustration. So forgive me for showing it, but it just makes perfect sense. This here along the top is the duration of time. Yeah, this is how long the car journey is. The whole sequence is set up by the moon. So your first dasha could be the full length, middle, or short. Depends how far she is in the sky through that nakshatra. If she's at the start, you get the full. If she's in the middle, you get about half. If she's near the end, you get about the end. However, everything after that, you get the full duration. Oh God, eyelash is just falling in my eye. After that, you get the full drive. Yeah. At the moment, so down here, you can see I've used the analogies of these different cars. So for K2, I have used the 1973 AMC Javelin. For Venus, so K2 is 7 years. Venus, I've used the 1980 Silver Shadow, yeah, which is a type of Rolls Royce. So you can see Venus, 20 years. Here, for the Sun, I've used a Bentley Arnage 2006. Yeah. Here, then the Moon has as a 1990 Honda Accord, etc. So the Moon is 10 years. Mars 7 years, which is a Porsche. Rahu is 18 years. Jupiter is 16 years, which is I've got as a Winnebago. Saturn, which I've got as a Mercedes, black Mercedes, 19 years. And finally, Mercury, I've got as a Mini Cooper, which is 17 years. Duck Larange is in his Jupiter Dasha, which is 16 years. Yeah, his Jupiter sits in his second house, and the second house deals with money, finances, yeah, all of these kind of things, money, finances, education, speech, etc., all of this stuff. His Jupiter is with Neptune. Now Neptune, of course, the shadow of Neptune can deal with what? Lies and deceit. Second house is speech, yeah, anything that comes out of the mouth. The second house goes from the eyebrows, face, neck, teeth. Also deals with education, stuff like that. Jupiter is one of the indicators of the second house, deals with wealth and abundance. So we know that he's been wealthy. But Neptune is deception, lies, gaslighting, the unreal appearing real. We now find out that he's not as rich as he says he is. Now, I said this from the beginning when I knew he would come into power in 2016. Yeah. No one believed me. I said, he's not a billionaire. I said, it's all fake. Can't you tell? It's all puffed up. It's all lies. everyone looked at me like I was speaking some alien language. And I was like, huh, fine. We'll see what happens down the road. So we can see he already has a propensity to what? Tell big lies with his speech. Jupiter and Neptune are gas giants. Jupiter is kind of big and over the top, but it's also a very lucky planet. Yeah, it's a lucky planet. So when Duck L'Orange got strapped into the back seat, yeah, just to make this point, when Duck L'Orange got strapped into the back seat, yeah, of his Jupiter Dasha, which lasts for 16 years, it would have also had an effect on his luck, because Jupiter is a lucky planet, but it's the lord of the 5th house and the 8th house. Now remember that 8th house is sex, death, rock and roll. So for Leos, Jupiter is a complicated planet, brings luck, but can also bring sudden transformations and, you know, stuff you don't want. Now, if we look here, when did this lucky phase begin for Duck L'Orange? When the sequence starts, it is always the planet driving its own car. So that sequence will be, say, like Jupiter, Jupiter, Saturn, Saturn, yeah? So when did his Jupiter Dasha start? When Jupiter was driving the car and his luck increased. Look, Jupiter started on the 14th of November, 2016. Ooh. That was around about the time of the campaigns and all of that stuff. It was what? When the vote was happening. Yeah, or there or thereabouts, because what is it? He won in 2016 and then was inaugurated in 2017, January 2017. The energy was coming in. I can't remember the exact day of the election. In fact, let me just Google it, or let me know in the comments. But let me just Google it first. 1 minute. Un momento. Let me see if I can find this. What day was the USA elections in 2016, if I'm remembering correctly? God, it seems like a lifetime ago now, doesn't it? Got this notification that came through. The United States presidential election was the 58th quadrennial presidential election held on Tuesday, November 8th, 2016. But what we got to remember is with the gas giants, their energy starts in advance. So you see, he formally went into his Jupiter on the 14th of November, but the energy had already began. His luck was already increasing from that time. And it was what? A shock for everyone, wasn't it? Anyway, so, and then he was in his Jupiter Saturn, and then he went into his Jupiter Mercury. Now remember, Mercury is the planet of communication. Do you remember I said it's communication? Mercury, Venus and Saturn are all planets of business. His Mercury is actually quite strong because it's in Gemini, sidereal Gemini, which belongs to Mercury, but it's in Ardra Nakshatra. Now, Ardra Nakshatra can go two ways. It can be extremely truthful, or it can be full of lying douchebags. Yeah. Now, my moon is in Ardra. Yeah. And of course, you know, I'm telling the truth. Yeah. The truth of how the stars and all the energy and all of that kind of stuff works. But the shadow of this can be the trickster. Duck L'Orange has got his Mercury in Ardra. My nickname for Ardra is Drama Ardra. Now, remember, Mercury deals with social media and all of that kind of stuff, communications of all kinds, including tweeting, emails, and all of that kind of stuff. He went into his Jupiter Mercury, Jume, on the 16th of July, 2021. And guess what? That's when, so here, Trump started Truth Social on February 16th, 2022. So you could see when he was in his Jupiter Mercury, it was also talking about him kind of literally getting his own platform. But remember, until he was kicked off, what was Duck Larange always doing? Tweeting, 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 tweeting. It's now called X, of course, but that's one of his main forms of communication till he got kicked off. And such as his desperation to communicate, he created his own platform. Now, when I said accountability would start coming from Dr. Larange, remember years ago, so November 2021, I said accountability would start in October 2023. Obviously, some people didn't like that. Some people threw piss. It doesn't matter. Some people were like, really? Would it take that long? But anyway, so if we look, Juke, that's what he's in now, Jupiter K2. And that started on the 22nd of October, 2023. But from late September, early October 2023, the energy of K2 was already kicking in and it was already starting to go pear-shaped, wasn't it? K2 is snip, snip. I said K2 will take a chainsaw to Trump's finances. So what's going to happen when he comes up into Jupiter Venus? Now, I've not done the full sequence here because it goes up to like 2030 something. There's no need to look that far ahead. Jupiter Venus, yeah. He goes into Jupiter Venus on the 27th of September 2024. But this is something important to understand. You remember I said wherever the main planet is and also the driving planet is very significant. Now, this actually, when I look at this actually could be quite dangerous for Duck Larange. Dangerous. Why do I say that? Now, some of you are probably like, well, you know, good riddance, you know, what have you. But as you know, we don't wish death on people. But I'll tell you why this is dangerous. His Jupiter sits in the second house, which doesn't just deal with finances as money. It is also known as a marker house. Marker means death inflicting. So is the seventh house. By transit, his Saturn, which is a difficult planet for Leo and Cancer ascendants, he's a Leo ascendant. His Saturn sits in the seventh house. By transit, his ascendant is Aries. So the opposite house is in Aquarius, which is the seventh house. That is also a marker house as well. So he has a significant transit going through two of his marker houses at the same time. When he goes into his Venus Dasha on the 27th of September 2024, Venus sits in his 12th house with Saturn, natal Saturn, and Pluto. Pluto is god of the underworld. Saturn is karma and restrictions. 12th house is losses. Can also mean what? Prisons, hospitals, or exile. Yeah? Loss of money as well. Sometimes it can be foreign money, as we know. He's very good with the foreign money. Yeah. So when you put that together, do you see that's starting to look quite dodgy, quite dangerous for Duck Larange? So what I would say is this. As you see, he's in the court case now. The wheels obviously starting to come off the jury selection, but then the trial is obviously going to start soon. Doesn't seem like yet that the Supreme Court is able to influence this one. And I don't think they can, but even if they did, it would be utterly outrageous. So I'm saying they can't really help him for now, can they? So think about it. Venus in the 12th with God of the underworld and Saturn, accountability. So what could happen is, as the months go by, he could either be incarcerated, he may have some health event, which could be real or faked. Yeah, remember I've said that for ages. Or he could go into exile, or there could be a secret enemy that may try and take Duck Larange out. Yeah, this is what this can mean. Like, you know, he's a mature man, but this is quite a dangerous combination. However, Jupiter will be going through his 10th house. And remember, Jupiter is a lucky planet for him. The 10th house is career, and it's going to be there with Uranus together in Taurus. Remember, Jupiter goes into Taurus, sidereal Taurus on May 1st, 2024. Uranus follows on the 1st of June, a month later. Sudden shocks and surprises, something weird could be happening. What in his if I remember, it is his 10th house. Yeah. So something weird. So it could be he's incarcerated. And then if he's still on the ballot, do people help him? Let's put it that way. So you see, it's a mixed energy. So I just thought I wanted to share that just to have absolute clarity on that. So yeah, Venus is in the 12, prisons, hospitals, etc. There could be that. It's also in Purna Vasu, which means return of the light. So we'll have to see. You might get some luck. We'll have to see. But then when he goes into Jupiter Moon on the 16th of March 2028, I think it could be over. Yeah, his moon is just, you know, not in a great place. Right, let's start with the questions. That went on a bit longer than I was expecting, but it's important because these Dashas are going to decide if he becomes the future president or not. Yeah, it's very, very important. So us keeping a beady eye on that, you know, because we'll have to see. Anyway, so Divine Blessings says, last month, I believe you said a lot of souls would be leaving the planet this month/year. It's not that I doubted you. I just didn't think it would be in my reality. I have lost one close friend and one acquaintance this week. And I found out today another close friend is just about to transition. So this is 3 people in her life. The one about transition and the friend that passed, both were only recently diagnosed with lung cancer. A very fast turnaround. The acquaintance had been ill for a few months, but I don't know what with. Just wanted you to know that I'm feeling it. So I'll bless you. Divine blessings. First of all, of course, my heart goes out to you and all of those people that are suffering, particularly suffering losses. And as you guys know, I made in my predictions, didn't I? I said, look, when the nodes of the moon changed, which they did on the 29th of November 2023. Of course, in Western Tropical, they had them changed and they've got them in different signs. But that's when it astronomically, in terms of NASA, that's when they changed. And my warning to everyone, I said, we're all going to be dealing what? With health and healing issues, things to do with flooding and storms, which Neptune is already bringing in because he's in sidereal Pisces, but Rahu is now there as well. And we're talking about flooding in a minute. But Ketu snip is in Virgo. Virgo deals with health and healing and overcoming obstacles. It does mean there could be some health breakthroughs, but it does mean, sadly, a lot of people are going to be struggling with their health. Everyone I speak to is struggling with their health. And if it's not their health, it's the health of their friends. You know, I've had to look at my health as well, as you know, blood sugar and stuff like that. I think I'm all good, but still, I've had to pay attention to it. Many people have had to look at their blood pressure or illnesses. Obviously, we see, sadly, Lady G, Ganga, she's struggling a bit now at the time as well. And this pattern is being repeated all over the world. So this really is a time to look after health, take vitamin D, celery juice powder, you know, which is one of my big ones, blueberry juice powder. Read The Healing Medium, yeah, by Anthony William, if I can give that plug there for entertainment purposes only, in case the algorithm doesn't like that. But yes, commiserations, everyone. Yes, we are in this kind of energy at the moment where people are having to face a lot of loss, a lot of death. But at the same time, this is also part of the spiritual awakening as well. People are moving away from traditional medicines. People are looking more at health, fitness, diet. We need to look at these things. We also need to look at the expense of healthcare as well, as particularly in the States. Why is it so extraordinarily expensive? You know, a client of mine lost a tooth, $10,000. I mean, come on. But really, losing a tooth and having a bit of a bone graft, how is that $10,000? You know, could may as well, you know, done it on a cruise ship, you know, had it done then. Anyway, forgive me as I have my little rant. Anyway, let's look here. So Nicola has got a question there. So again, commiserations, divine blessings. Let me know in the comments, guys, below this video, if you've been struggling with health as well, or friends. I know we touched on it a bit with Linda G as well, but obviously, and that's when we were collaborating. But let me know in the comments as well, share some of your health stories. Okay, so Nicola has asked, the EU wants to agree a deal with the UK to bring back some pre-Brexit rights to enable young people to live and work in each other's countries. Will this be successful? And is this the reason because countries are being impacted as the UK restriction on UK travelers is hitting EU countries? So just before I even pull cards on that, yes, of course. Yeah. How could it not? This was all a big part of the folly as well, of course, with Brexit. Now, look, however people voted, I've got good friends that voted for Brexit and stuff like that, and I still love those people. And we discuss the merits, the pros and the cons and stuff like that. However, as I get my cards out, what was not discussed while this whole referendum stuff, and what was really not made abundantly clear, is that the UK does 40% of its trade with the EU, 40%, which is almost half. And this also lets me know a lot of people don't know what a percentage is. Yeah. Anyway, so immediately students and all that lot lost their right to travel, orchestras, etc. It was an absolute bun fight. And I remember, because I was working at King's Place at the time, and so many bands, musicians, artists, speakers, all sorts of cultural people, and many others couldn't travel, and it was ridiculous. So obviously, without that exchange happening, that is going to affect the economy, because much of the economy is based on students leaving, going to other countries, getting experience and coming back, and vice versa. So that exchange has been kiboshed. So let's look on that. What's the energy of that? Will this be successful? Let's look to see if this exchange will be successful. And I'm wearing my shirt here from Mexico. From Mexico. Got this when I was in. This was in Tulum, market in Tulum. All right. EU student exchange visa, etc. Oh, interesting. Interesting. All right, there's a whiff of intrigue in here, folks. A little whiff of intrigue. Wow, there's 384 of you in the room. Thank you so much. And thanks. And don't forget, of course, to like and subscribe and share to support the channel and all that stuff. And yes, even if you're seeing me in the next day or 2 or 3 from now, hello and thanks for joining me. All right, so if we look here, we have the Knight of Wands. So look, this is about what? Energy, enthusiasm, thrusting forward. Yeah, it's a youthful energy. This can literally talk about the students or young people, people that are ambitious, wanting to do things, wanting to get places. So straight away, we can see what the context is of that. Here in the obstacle position, we have the Ace of Wands, but this is also a yes card. So what this says to me is that, yes, there is definitely an intention that we've got 2 wands that have shown up already to want to make this happen. But this is also technically the obstacle position as well. So we can also see it as reversed. Now the club of wands, Ace of Wands, is all about what? Fertile new beginnings, new growth and stuff like that. And of course the Brexit has been what? A block to that. It's been a block to fertile new beginnings. However, I always say a card in the obstacle position can also be turned around or made positive. So I think, yes, they want to help the young people, and they want to what? Revitalize the energy of the economies, because of course you need young people in particular moving around, spend their, they're going to be the ones that are, particularly the nighttime economy as well. They're going to be the ones out clubbing, using the bars, all of the nightlife, the adventure, the vivacity, the vivace of, being young and all of that kind of stuff. So them not being able to move backwards and forwards. In fact, I would have said, if they had that as part of the conditions, like everyone's leaving, but at least the students can go backwards and forwards, it may not have been nearly the drama that it has been. Yeah. However, there are some challenges. If we look here, we've got the Four of Cups, so no one's really liking what's on the table. There's 3 here and there's 1 in the sky. So there'll be some wrangling, some hand wrangling, some umming and ahhing about the details, the nitty gritty of this. Neither side is going to be liking what's on the table. Europe doesn't like the fact that, there's not that so many Brits around, believe it or not. Who would have thought that they would have missed us? But if you're Mallorca, yeah, or if you're a place in Spain or Italy or any other place that relies a lot on British tourists, they've been struggling for business, yeah, because it would be the Brits, the egg and chips, yeah. I'm not necessarily saying as a Brit I'm necessarily proud of some of that reputation that we do have in Britain, but literally places like Mallorca, or Spain, Brits do like to travel. We do like to get around. And when we're around, we spend a lot. So it spreads a lot of money across all of Europe. I mean, of course, it doesn't mean that, no one's there. The Germans, obviously, everyone else still moves around. But the Brits are very good at going to all these places, egg and chips, cafes, bar, nightlife, Brits, like a little drinky pool, or I'm virtually teetotal these days. Can't really handle drink that much anymore. Anyway, then we see 4 of Wands, which is about what? Landmarks, success. This can also deal with what? It's also a marriage card as well. It has those connotations there. You can see the garlands. This is about rebuilding things. You see the roof isn't on yet. So this is about building foundations. So this would further emphasize that, yes, it looks like the UK is going to be trying to rebuild certain foundations with the EU so that the students and young people can actually have a future, something to look forward to. Huh? Who would have thought? However, though, we do have the high priest here, so the priestess. So this is talking a little bit about machinations. Things are behind the scenes. There's a little bit of horse trading, argy-bargy. Some of the things might be secret. What I suspect is that the Tory party is probably trying to circumnavigate some of the hardcore Brexiteers. Yeah, there's an element of subtlety or subterfuge here. I think as well, assuming that Labour gets into power, which is what people are expecting when the general election in the UK happens, this could also show as well Labour will have to do some backdoor negotiations to try and, facilitate this. Because at the end of the day, a stuttering economy is a stuttering economy, and people vote with their pocketbooks. Don't care what anyone says. That's how it is in terms of real politics. And that is universal all over the world. People always ask themselves, am I better off now as opposed to back then? It always comes down to it. Whatever culture, country you're in, it's always the same. Anyway, I hope you guys found that interesting. Let's go on to the next one. So let's see here. Oh, volcanoes. Let's also see who's in the chat as well. Oh, my mouse has gone to sleep. What's it? There we are. So, love and light. Thank you. Let's scroll down a bit. Let's see what the new comments are. Oh, someone's laughing when I said egg and chips. It's true. Sometimes abroad we're known as egg and chips. Another one is roast beef. The French call us roast beef. Because we love our we do love roast. It's true. Is that true that Sunak tries to forbid people from smoking cigarettes? I don't smoke, but what about free? Yeah, you know what, I've heard about this. Even Liz Truss, yeah, or Liz Turd, as I referred to her, she stood up in Parliament and said this was draconian. I've not even had time to dig into a lot of the UK stories because any spare moment I have, it is on the book or with clients or doing stuff. But yes, I think, Manuela, there was something to that effect, which sounds incredibly draconian. Look, if people want to smoke, whatever, they know the risks. It's up to them. For some people, it's a pleasure. And if they have Rahu in the second house, then it can be almost impossible for them to give up. That's what I found. Anyway, let's look at volcanoes. So Nicola, again, an Indonesian volcano has erupted in the past week. Will this cause major disruption for the locals who have to evacuate, and will continue with some ferocity, I think she's saying there. Right. So remember I said there'll be more earthquakes and volcanoes, folks. Remember I said with Uranus and stuff, also as well, K2 going through Virgo, which is an earth sign, that can do it. The eclipses can bring that on, but that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which is coming ever closer together, that also deals with earthquakes as well. There was a whopper in Taiwan, and earthquake, and then, but also as well, Indonesian volcano. There was also an eruption in Stromboli, Italy, remember? And I looked up online, and there were 47 confirmed eruptions this year. So what the planets do really do matter. But anyway, let's go back to this. Could it cause major disruptions for the locals? So let's see what the energy is around this Indonesian eruption. And also as well with the earthquakes, I was just checking my notes here. So there was 30 earthquakes so far this year that were at 6.0 or higher. Yeah. None at, oh no, so there was 3 earthquakes at 0 at 8 points and above, and there were 3 at 7 Richter scales, 7 to 7.9, and that was in Japan. So yeah, it is a bit of an irky, shaky wakey year. Anyway, volcano, Indonesia. Bloody hell, this is interesting. Look at this. I pulled 5 cards and they've got 3 major arcana. All right. Oh, 423 of you in the house now. So if we look here, we've got the Justice card that has come up here. So you're thinking, what's the Justice got to do with it? But this is the courthouse, legalities, etc. and stuff. This could also be to do with insurance, because legal matters aren't always just being taken to court. They can also deal as well with contracts. Remember here, the weighing scales, things to do even with business and stuff like that. So obviously businesses, legalities, legal contracts and stuff like that have been affected. If we look here, we got the Queen of Cups. So this is here, she's got secrets underneath her cup here, and it's turning up in the obstacle position. So there's an element here of, this can also speak about watery elements as well, but there's an element of secrecy. I'm not sure how secrecy will fit into legalities and the earthquake and the eruption. Hopefully, I hope it's not to do with some kind of corruption or something. If we look here in the middle of the reading, we have got the 4 of Pentacles, which is what? Holding on to your cash, holding on to your reserves. So obviously this is going to affect things like the economy and stuff like that, or especially the economy of the local area. And this will affect people as well, because think about it. I don't think there's ever been a volcanic eruption on planet Earth that was actually good for business, unless you were the viewing point overlooking it or something like that, and those local shops. So here, this is talking about, money, finances, frugality. However, when we look here, we also have the Empress as well, which is also a card of fecundity, fertility, rejuvenation and stuff like that. So it seems Indonesia will bounce back. And from what I understand, the economy in general is actually doing very well in Indonesia. When China did its massive lockdowns, India picked up a lot of that slack. So from what I hear, Indonesian economy is doing pretty well. And I'll just cover the naughty bits. We got the Lovers card that's turned up here. So again, this deals with what? Choices, but it's also not just choices, it's international trade, business, goods and services. So what this says to me is that it looks like Indonesia is going to be having a little bit of a bounce back. And because the Empress is here next to the Lovers, so look, it's a setback which has made them hold on for now. There'll be a few legalities and stuff like that, but overall it looks like the economy of Indonesia is doing good. So I expect them to bounce back. All right, so let's see. So and Stromboli is the Aeolian Islands, so they're kind of just above Sicily, near the boot. Let's see. Let's do question number 4, and then question number 5, of course, as you know, is Duck L'Orange. Right, let's see here. So Nicola again says, the UAE have used cloud seeding for numerous years to create rain. Did it cause the severe Dubai flooding as several planes have been in operation days before? Okay. Now, it's quite interesting because I was watching the news on this. Now, I've got a friend of mine, I don't know if he's still in Dubai, but he was there with the flood when it happened. Literally, all of the malls and stuff were flooded. I've never seen, it was just ridiculous. Cars floating away and all of this, and all of this stuff. Oh, someone's just said here. Connie says, Hogarth, you're always so interesting and informative. Ah, thank you, thank you. Well, as you know, you get a broad diet here on Thursday Fry Up. There's all sorts in the mix. Oh, someone says here, Sammy says, unfortunately, there is a lot of build-up urban areas in the shadow of volcanoes these days. This is a mistake, yes. That should be reserved for national parks and farming only. Yeah, the only things that should be grown on volcanoes are grapes. Yeah, that volcanic soil is, is good for the flavor. But yes, I mean, look, volcanic soil is famously fertile because it's full of minerals. Yeah, so this is one of the reasons why, as well, in Sicily as well, the tomatoes, the food is so fabulous. Their lemons, everything's packed with flavor because of the eruptions. But the problem, of course, is the eruptions. So if you live near there, just remember the people of Pompeii. Yeah, that's what can happen. So it's a double-edged sword when you live near volcanoes, but people seem to gravitate to them anyway, because of course the good agriculture and the food. So Dubai, did they use the cloud seeding? Let's have a quick slurp. Now, there's been some denials around this, but they said, actually, when it comes to cloud seeding, you do it on clouds that are a little bit weak and feeble, and you want them to produce rain. Yeah, so that's what they're more used to, aren't they, in that hot part of the world. However, this was a system that actually went through the whole region, apparently. Now, because of global warming, of course, as we all know, now there are some people that are skeptical about global warming, but let me just say this. Use your own life as reference. I'm coming up to my mid-40s now, and I can already see the difference. Like, it doesn't snow anymore in London. Yeah, Midlands upwards, it might snow, but White Christmas, we've not seen for decades down here. We've not seen it for decades. There's hardly any fog anymore. It doesn't get very cold. It might get a little bit chilly in January, but it's not the winters that I remember when, where my windows as a kid used to frost over with snowflakes. Literally, it was that cold. The crystals would form inside. It was an old Victorian drafty house. And as you know, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. Yeah. I've left some little details of that for the book. So obviously hot air can hold more moisture. So even though it is a desert realm, when it does rain, they can get deluge. Also as well, irrespective of if you live in the desert or not, I am a big fan of decent urban planning. You still need storm drains, even in the desert, because when it does rain, it absolutely hacks it down. And they got what was equivalent to a year and a half of rain from what I saw in The Guardian, I think in one day or so. And it was 4 inches or something like that, which is still quite a lot. In Britain, that wouldn't cause catastrophic flooding like it did over there. But of course, there's nowhere for the water to go. It's a concrete jungle, isn't it? It's all glass and steel, but leaky, you know. Anyway, did they see the clouds? What they said is, even if they did, it wouldn't make a significant difference because it was a deluge anyway. So the instinct is no, but let's see what the cards say. What they need is some storm drains there. They need some greenery and they need some plants. Cloud seeding. I mean, it's easy for me to say. I live opposite a park, so I love seeing the lush green. I can't imagine living anywhere that doesn't have it. That's what I love about New York. It's got Central Park. Otherwise, I could never have stayed there in the past. Let's see. See the clouds. Oh, we see the bling and the money. Look, I pulled 5 cards, and 4 of them are pentacles. Well, that tells you a lot, doesn't it, about Dubai, I suppose. Again, for entertainment purposes only. And of course, if anyone's from Dubai, happen to watching this, obviously I'm sad about the flooding because it is epic. We're talking roads into rivers. You should have seen the airport. It looked like a sea. Anyway, did they see the clouds? Now here, this is the 7 of Pentacles. So this is the card are called of ROI, which means return on investment. So in the past, yes, have they seeded the clouds? Yes, I think they have. Yeah, in order to try and precipitate some rain to get some kind of yield and stuff like that. Apparently they did seed the cows a few days, not on the day, but a few days before. It wouldn't have been enough to produce the deluge that they got. Yeah, but what this says to me is they're going to have to invest what in their infrastructure. Yeah, this is the card of investment. Even though it's a desert, you still need storm drains. You still need the water to be able to go somewhere. Get some kind of exposed land, you know, and grow some kind of tough, hardy, wary kind of stuff, even if it's full of cacti, yeah, and palm trees, something that can soak up the water. Look, you see, this is reap what you sow card. We look here in the obstacle position that we get the King of Pentacles. So it's about money. They didn't want to spend the money on those infrastructure. Now, look, to be fair to Dubai, it doesn't rain that significantly. Normally they get 4.5 inches of rain in a single year, but nonetheless, what this is saying to me here with the King of Pentacles in the obstacle position, it shows that maybe things like the building regulations and infrastructure is not quite up to scratch. And I know as well, if you happen to be one of those workers in Dubai, you know, and they just take your passport and then you're just up on a building site for however long. Maybe that has changed. I don't want to be throwing aspersions, but that is a thing from what I understand. However, if we look here, the Ace of Wands is back. So Dubai will bounce back from this, probably with some fresh ideas about rain. With climate change, sadly, we do have to make these changes. You know, we all have to adapt unless they're going to actually stop, unless we're going to stop the madness. You know, we do have to adapt. But this is going to make shall we say, the money men and women, yeah, of Dubai think, yeah, because this is about fresh, bright, new ideas. So going to have fertile new ideas. Imagine if a lot of that rain was captured. They would have had water for years, yeah? Anyway, if we look here, we have the King of Pentacles. Now we have the Queen of Pentacles. So you see it's pentacles everywhere. Money, 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 money. Of course, it's a tax haven, from what I understand, and a lot of, you know, wealthy individuals go there. But also as well, you're not paying any tax. So if we look here, this is about domesticity or the stability of the home. This can also talk about, by extension, real estate. The Queen of Pentacles, look how she's looking down at that card. So I think as well, this means as quite literally, they're going to have new ideas around infrastructure, domesticity, the things to do with Dubai and the conveniences. But look at the outcome card. This is interesting. Here we have the poverty card here, or feeling out in the cold, etc., and stuff like that. So I think what this is more to do with, it's If they don't improve, if they don't get new ideas around domesticity, real estate, the infrastructures, the storm drains, when the rains and floods come again, more and more people are going to be what? Out of pocket, out on the street. You know, it was people's basements completely flooded. And there must have been thousands of them because it was just, I don't know if you've seen the pictures. So again, so even though we know Dubai is an exceptionally wealthy country, we all have to deal with the realities of Earth, of the changes on Earth school. We all need proper infrastructure. They're even saying now harvests are going to be affected in lots of places in Europe and potentially the UK because of so much flooding. Yeah. And you remember I said water, water, water. Rahu is in sidereal Pisces. Neptune is in sidereal Pisces, which is the oceanic sign, since February 22nd, 2023. And he'll be there for 14 years. And I said, we need to wake up about water and storms, you know, too much water. So even those in Dubai, even though they've got the wealth and the money, they need to look as well. All right, so there's that. Let's see what you've been saying in the comments, and then we're going to finish up with Duck Larange and his thingamajig case. What's going on here? And I hear you. So Jacanta Tom is saying, and you know they don't pay no taxes. Yes. Here we are. Someone saying, just Kendra, pouring all that concrete in the middle of the desert with no trees or drainage. Yeah, not drainage, not that smart. Yeah, that's exactly what I said to my friend. I was like, where's the palm trees? Because he's showing me pictures. Yeah. And you got this shining tower and that shining tower, and they all leak. He told me when it rains heavily, his friends that live there tell me that the buildings leak. Even the hotels, he said that the hotels, the mall, everything all leaks. So what that tells me is obviously because they're, again, I don't want to throw too many aspersions, but let's just say their labor laws aren't so great. So if you're one of the people that are coming in, a lot of people from India come in and other places to build these places, you know, they take your passport and stuff. Do you think they're really following full kind of protocols of infrastructure and drainage and plumbing, sewage, you know, all of this stuff? Yeah, so I can understand. Yeah, 4 inches of rain or getting a year and a half's rain, it is a lot. But there was absolutely nowhere for that water to go. If there were palm trees and some exposed sand, some of that water at least could have been absorbed a bit before. But it was just like, it's like they've never had heavy rain in their lives in there. Anyway, let's see here. Here we are. So Kendra is saying they have no regulation or accountability. Yeah. And then hotel management person here. Yeah. What's this? Sharon saying scientists have already discovered a new ocean under the earth, which is huge. Is it? Really? I mean, that would fit, wouldn't it, with that Neptune? Like I said, water, water, water. I said there'll be news about the oceans as well. This seemed like I'd have to check that one out. If you could give any more details on that, Sharon, that would be great. Let's see who else. And then here, rain gardens are so important. And then magical mermaid saying they're gays for just being gay. Yes, it's not that progressive, unfortunately. With those things, but you know, cultures, countries have different cultures, religious beliefs, etc. But definitely one of the things they certainly need is some proper infrastructure and gardens and greenery to soak up that rain. All right, so Lucy Claire has asked, could you please look into the bond in question for Trump's New York financial fraud fine? It's looking like he's substituted the signature page from the Chubb bond for E. Jean Carroll, for the E. Jean Carroll case, into place for the new case. Do you remember I was saying that Ardra? Yeah. Ardra can be exceptionally truthful, but when it goes to the dark side, you get liars extraordinaire. And Duck Larange, man, is just liar of liars. Just absolutely. It doesn't mean every scintilla that comes out of his mouth is a lie. Yeah. Let's not be too black and white here. But I would say 95% of it. Yeah. My gosh. All right. Let's ask the cards about this bond. Duck Larange. So as you've seen, the K2, like I said, would take a chain to his finances, but he was helped out by the courts again. You see, that's his luck. Jupiter, remember, deals with the judiciary. Yeah. Laws, lawmakers. That's why I'm a little bit iffy about SCOTUS, because on Monday, they're supposed to give their whatever. Monday, of course, is also Passover. That could be when the heifers, yeah, are burnt, and then all sorts of ceremonial stuff going on the Mount of Olives in Israel. So, of course, his bond was basically the best part of $500 million, wasn't it? And then it got reduced. Yeah. Someone from the judiciary, the appeals court, reduced it. That's Jupiter giving him some luck. He's still in Jupiter Dasha. Let's not forget. Anyway, let's see. What's the energy around this bond? Is K2 going to amp it back up again to chop up his finances, or does he get away on this one with what he's paid already? If he swapped the signatures, I mean, I'm not sure quite understand how that works, actually, but let's just say it seems like there's been some shenanigans, some tomfoolery, but if someone could let me know in the comments what the precise details are, that would be great. Let's pull on this to wrap the show. Duck Larange and that bond. What did he falsify with the Chubb, which remember was a Russia-supported company? So, you know, it's so obvious what the connections are. Let's have a look here. Oh, look! The Seven of Pentacles is back. ROI, the card of ROI, return on investment. Well, well, well. Oh, look, money changing house. Oh, you can just... Look, the Queen of Pentacles is back. Oh, and the moon. All right. Oh, there's 500 of you now. What to say about Duck Larange, eh? For entertainment purposes only. All right. Serious return on investment. But look, this is looking at the money, looking at the yield, looking at the harvest. This can also be interpreted as the yield that one gets for previous actions. So obviously he's having to reap, you know, quite a few things. He's having to reap what he's sown here. If we look in the obstacle position, we have the Page of Pentacles, not Page of Pentacles, Page of Swords, pardon me. Now, pages are all about messages, yeah? And sometimes this is known as the spy in the camp or gossip or salacious stuff. But this is also can be quite a truthful card as well. And it's turned up in the obstacle position for Duck Larange. So this is people, what? Testifying in court about his shenanigans, his investments, his ROI, the seeds that he has sown. Because it's not so much, it wasn't a crime to sleep with an adult entertainment porn star. You know, what was the illegal part was the money exchanged to try and cover it over. But now look, the truth is coming out. We've known this truth, but it's going to be said in court now, which is, of course, is an issue. What is this truth going to be about? It's going to be about what? The hush payments. Six of Pentacles. Look, you can literally see it here. Here's Duck Larange, yeah, or the wealthy patron, paying out to hush up some people down here, in which case this was actually Michael Cohen, wasn't it, who was the fall guy for this. He's obviously had his whole mea culpa transformation, but literally you can see there the money changing hands. Here, the wife, Melania, pissed, yeah, pissed. As we know. So there she is. She's sitting there. Now we know that she's fond of a coin or two as well. Like I said, I think she's got some Louis Vuittons that have been packed for ages, gathering dust somewhere. From what I understand, when Baron turns 18, which I think is next year, he comes into trust and all that stuff. That could be when she, yeah, snip. Now remember, Venus is also the wife. So when Duck Larange goes into his Jupiter-Venus Dasha, we could hear some news from Melania. This also as well here, Pentacles can talk about people with dark hair. So this is literally her. And look, the outcome card is the Moon. So yes, was there subterfuge? Was there some intrigue, shenanigans in regards to this? It wouldn't surprise me if there was. But what this tells me is Melania may have secret plans. That's, I think, is the big takeaway from this, which wasn't the intended thing for the question. Has he done some sleight of hand moves in terms of paying the bond? Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But actually, this tells me Melania has secret plans that may surprise Duck Larange. She might be playing along. Let's pull a clarifier. See what else is going on with her, because I've not talked about her that much. Let's just see. What's Melania's intentions? Let's have a clarifier. Pull it here. As you know, I'll pull with my eyes closed. Oh! Look at this. She gets the 7 of Cups. Now, this can mean illusions and delusions, but it also means making choices. Lots of choices to make. So when I put that in context, Melania has got secret, hidden plans. Some of them may be realistic. Some of them may not. These could just be fantasies, dreams at the moment in her head, but it does mean making choices. So she's eyeing up the options because she knows that, think about it as well, if Duck Larange is in jail and she's been planning to leave, now would be the perfect time. Anyway, I will leave it there. Thank you so much, everyone, for your comments. Let's see. Oh, look, someone has just told me here, Deborah is saying he just turned 18. So we see, do you see, even though that wasn't the intention for the reading, remember it was about the court case, but remember the tarot will often tell you more if you're broad-minded. Melania is making plans. Baron is now 18, which means that he should have come in under trust. She's making secret plans because the moon was there, but you could see all of the stuff kind of going on. Venus could throw him into jail, in which case Venus being the wife in the 12th house, which can mean a foreign wife, or the wife goes into exile or in the land of far, far away. Maybe if he gets locked up, she divorces him and leaves. I mean, what's he going to do? Chase her from prison? I don't think he is. If he is in prison, though, and he becomes president, which I hope he doesn't, he could release himself. But let's not entertain that too much. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Yeah, someone's saying here, blue voters say, I bet she'll leave. Yeah, most likely. Let's see. To leave the US after graduation day with Baron. Yeah, plausible. Particularly if Duck Larange goes behind bars or he's hospitalized or incapacitated. Someone else is saying Melania began planning summer of 2023. Yeah, I can well believe the plans are advanced, guys. They're advanced plans. Remember, the moon was there, so it's underground. And then Sharon saying, I'll ditch him while he's sleeping in court. Roxana Lee says, thank you, Hogarth. Great show. Take care, chatters. Great show tonight. Angela's saying, thank you so much. Much love, Hogarth. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave it there, folks. So you will see me again, of course, on Hogarly. We will be having Jen coming in. Jen Bushman will be coming in, because obviously Lady G is going to be out for a little while. And she said to people, look, please, open up the slot. So we're going to try and do it on a rotation. Thank you, though, everyone, for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. And I will see you on Hogarly this Saturday. Mwah! Big love. All right. Bye-bye for now. Cheers.